Hi guys, it's me again, Charles Dormer for Sports Solutions LLC. We are the creators of AthleticSOS.com. It is a software platform that helps student athletes find the perfect fit school for them academically and athletically so they can move on and experience their dreams of playing at the collegiate level. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about what we found using the software. Now, the interesting thing is that when we go in and we use the software, we find different uses that the student athletes find that we weren't even thinking about when we were doing it. There's just like these little add-ons. And this one's interesting to me because we were doing a high school, and when we do a high school, what we do is we come in and we set the school up in the software on the platform, and then we set up the staff, right? The counselors, the principal, all the coaches, we get them and we do an onboard for them. And then we come back a couple of weeks later and we do an onboarding for the parents of the student athletes. And it's always fun for me. That's my favorite one, actually. When I get a chance to do them, I try to do those as often as possible. And so when we're doing those, what we found, though, is that when we're onboarding the student athlete and the parent, we have to have the parent part of the registration because they have to click a box saying, you know, it's okay for my kid to be in this software. These are minors, right? So that's one. So we have them sitting next to their kid, and they could be using their phone sometimes. Sometimes the school has set up a lab for them where everybody has a laptop in front of them. Whatever the situation is, we work with it. But here's the interesting thing. We're training on how to use it. I like to walk them through step by step how to use it, how to do the searches for colleges. And I always talk about, you know, thinking about what you want to do in the future, what kind of atmosphere you want to be in. Do you want to be in a big school, small school, suburban, urban, rural? What kind of environment do you want to be in? What's your major? All these different things that I want them to think about. Do you need to play right away? What level do you think you can play at? And all these different things, right? And we're just having a good time and we're riffing, and the kids starting to loosen up a little bit, but they're always a little bit reserved because their parents are there. And so once the parents get them logged in and they kind of figure it out, what's going on, and they feel, the parents will get up and sort of wandering away. They'll go to the restroom, or they'll go get some coffee, or they'll go do something. And then I watch the kids. And what ends up happening is the kids start doing searches, because I'm walking around trying to make sure no one's stuck, because a lot of times the kids won't say anything. They'll just sort of fumble around and then lose interest in it. And so I'm just trying to make sure that they're okay. And I'll watch them start looking at schools. Or when we do the schools, there's trade schools in the system, and there's 4-year schools and 3-year schools. There's D1, D2, D3 in AIA. But when their parents are there, they're looking at a set of schools that the parents, I think, are interested in. The parents are like, well, what about this school? What about that school? But when the kids are left to their own devices, they're looking at completely different things. They're stretching out to see what's available. And to be perfectly honest, this is what I want them to do. I want them to start thinking in terms. I always tell everybody there's two things that billions of dollars have been spent over the years trying to do a couple of things in the education system. One, make sure the kids are interested in learning and education and their grades, because that's going to dictate what happens next. But the second one is trying to get them engaged in thinking about and planning for their futures. And kids just don't want to do that. They've got other stuff going on. They got, you know, just being a high school student is enough for them. And so billions of dollars have been spent over this, and it's always about outreach, right? There's college night, and there's trips to campuses, and there's filling out your application for college, and there's all this outreach, bring the kids in. And what you end up doing most of the time is you get the kids that are interested in that anyway, or their parents force them to be there, and they'll go through the motions, but they're not excited about it. But what we found with our software is that if the parent will just sign up and give the kid the password and login information and let the kid go, the kid will start bringing things into the system. So they'll start thinking for themselves. And it's the reason why I figured this out. The reason why is because the kid that wants to play athletics has already raised their hand. They want to be there. They just want to know what are the rules for me to be able to play on this team, or be a part of the team, or be, you know, get to do what I love to do. And so they've already raised their hand. They're in. You don't have to beg them to come. They got to go to practice. They get hollered and screamed at. They lose games. It's a very emotional roller coaster. They want to be there. They want to be part of what that whole atmosphere is all about. So you've already got them with their hand raised. And once you have that, well, anything you introduce, they're like, okay. And then once they realize that they can have a little bit of control over their lives, they're okay with it, especially if there's not an adult looking over their shoulder constantly. So I'm really excited about that piece of it. I see it happening every single time I go out. And the other thing we find out, if anyone's seen our software, that you can save a list of schools. So, you know, you're searching for schools and you're looking at one looks interesting, you just save it to your list and you go in and you do some more researching. Well, what we find when the parents come back, let's say they went to get some coffee or use the restroom, when they come back, the kids will delete a lot of those. And in fact, the kids will be looking at schools or opportunities or options, and they won't even save them. They'll just look at it and they won't put it on their list because they don't want to hear the lecture from the parent. You know, why did you do this? And what's going on here? And I thought we talked about XYZ. Why are you looking at ABC? And so they don't want that. They want to try to figure out what their options and opportunities are. And so as a parent, once you've signed up, give your kid the freedom to go in and do searches, because if they save those, you can log in too and see the schools they saved. And you can go in and add some schools yourself, but maybe that opens up the conversation, because let's be honest, I had my two kids, a boy and a girl, and about age 13, they really stopped communicating with you. You think you know your kid and what their hopes and dreams and goals are, but a lot of times those are your hopes and dreams and goals and not theirs necessarily. And they just shut down anyway. They realize now you don't know everything about everything, and you're always lecturing them. You've been probably doing it for 13 years, and they've tuned out a little bit, and they're all about their peers and other people on the outside. That's why you want to make sure they're around really positive and good people. But just hearing from you day after day is worn them down. So they don't really communicate a lot, because there will always be a lecture behind that. I'm as guilty of it as any other parent. And so this is a great opportunity with this software to get that going on them, and especially at a young age, 9th grade. As soon as they hit high school, they should be using that. We're actually working with some junior highs that are feeding into certain high schools we've been working with. They want to move it back that far. So we're trying to put something together to make that make sense for them. So all of these things are happening. So as I always do, at the end of these videos, I always give you a code with instructions if you want to try the system out. See if it's everything I'm telling you it is. You and your kid should be able to find the perfect fit college opportunity for them, or whatever they're going to do next after they walk out of high school. And that's what we want to have happen. So we no longer do it where it's free. I did that when I first started. I stopped doing that, but I promise it's less than going to the coffee place down the street. It'll give you 1 month, let you try it, see what you think, and then it's a very minimum obligation on your part, and then there's no further application. There's no auto renewal or any nonsense like that. I think what we do is better than what anyone else does, and I think the benefit to your student athlete and you as a parent is better than what anybody else is going to give you. And so we're very proud of what we pulled off so far. If you are a high school or a travel club program and you would like to bring our software in, we'd be glad to talk to you about it. If you're an individual who doesn't have anyone helping you out, if you're on our, go to our page, AthleticSOS.com, and scroll down, we do have a solo version of the software. But what we really would like to do is work with the high schools, get all your coaches, all your student athletes into the system. Doesn't matter if they're looking for an athletic scholarship in those systems, because we have an academic only thing. We want every single student athlete that's taking the time out to go to practice, to maybe not even get in the games, to make sure they keep their grades up, to make sure they juggle academic and athletic responsibilities. We want to help them move forward in their lives for their post-high school lives. And so that's what we're trying to accomplish. Every single one of them. Now, we don't leave anybody behind. And that's what we're all about. So if you guys want any information, I'll leave our contact information, but you can always go to AthleticSOS.com, and there's a link there for you to be able to contact us. And we'll contact you right away, and we'll get you guys set up. And that's what we do. So as always, best of luck to you and your student athlete. And if they want to stay in the game, we can help them. So take advantage of the offer we're going to make at the end of the video, and let's keep them in the game. Talk to you guys later. Bye.